In this video, we are building this fluid glitch animation effect entirely inside DaVinci Resolve Fusion page. No plugins, no After Effects, just Fusion nodes doing their thing. Final result is a moving animation where your footage gets this broken, corrupted look with scanlines, color shifting, and smooth, noise-based warping. It's a great base to build on. Let me walk you through every single node, what it does, and what settings to punch in. Before touching any settings, let's talk about the full node chain so the whole thing makes sense. Here's the structure from top to bottom. We start with 5 MEDIAIN nodes, 5 different clips or GIFs, all feeding into a switch node. The switch lets us swap between footage easily without rewiring everything. From switch, the footage flows into JPEGDAMAGE, then FALSECOLOR, then 2 Scanline nodes stacked on top of each other. After that, a color corrector adjusts the hue. Then comes the interesting part. A FASTNOISE node feeds into a Displace node, which warps the whole image with animated noise. After that, a RESIZE node cleans up the output. And finally, a merge node composites it all over a background node before hitting media out. This is the full node chain. I'm not going to build this from scratch live, because honestly, that would take forever and you would probably fall asleep halfway through. What I'm going to do is walk you through every single node that's already here. Before we get into Fusion, let me show you where these clips actually come from. I grabbed it for free from pixabay.com. For example, just enter G4Crew in Google search machine and click on this result. Click and download some 3 clips from this artist. This here, for example, or this, add 5 MEDIAIN nodes. These hold the source footage. In this example, the clips used are 4 animated clips, MEDIAIN to MEDIAIN 5, and 1 JPEG file, MEDIAIN 1. Things like beach scenes and landscapes from an artist called G4Crew on pixabay.com. Generally, only 1 MEDIAIN source can be played at a time. And in the next node switch 1, you decide which source is kept running continuously. The switch node takes all 5 MEDIAIN clips as inputs. Go into the config tab in the inspector and set number of inputs to 5. Default value is 2. The inputs show up as input 0 through input 4. Think of the switch node like a TV remote. It lets you swap between all 5 input clips without touching any of the wiring. 1 node, 5 channels, instant switching. In the Controls tab, source is set to input 0 by default. Here I have chosen input 1. You can select which input media you want to play. To animate between the 4 GIF clips, MEDIAIN 2 through MEDIAIN 5, you would keyframe this value. That's what I have done here. At frame 1, I have selected input 1 and activated keyframe, this diamond icon here. At frame 11, I have selected again input 1 and activated keyframe. At frame 22, I have selected input 2 and activated keyframe. At frame 33, I have selected input 3 and activated keyframe. And at frame 44, I have selected finally input 4 and again activated keyframe. The result is a complete clip where all the 4 GIF files are represented. Next node, JPEGDAMAGE. This is where the glitch texture starts. Add a JPEGDAMAGE node and connect it after the switch. You press Shift and spacebar, and then enter JPEGDAMAGE. The JPEGDAMAGE node is the glitch engine. It deliberately recompresses the image with really low quality, which creates those blocky JPEG artifacts and broken pixel clusters that make the footage look corrupted. In the Controls tab, here are the key values. Quality is set from default value 10 to 3.0. This is pretty low. The lower it goes, the more blocky and artifact heavy the image looks. That's what we want. Resolution, block aspect ratio, and frequency scale stay at 1.0. Scale component also stays with all frequencies. No adjustments in the Settings tab. Note, false color is disabled in the node graph. You'll see the node is grayed out in the viewer, but it's still part of the chain and passes the image through. Press Ctrl+P to disable it. The false color node remaps the brightness values of the image to specific colors. In this case, a grayscale band sequence. It's currently switched off, so the image passes through untouched. But flip it on and the whole look changes instantly. Click on false color and look at the Controls tab in the inspector. Change plugin mode from specific camera model to creative. Under color bands, change creative style from jet status to 5 bands. Number of bands is 5. The 5 color bands are set as grayscale stats, kind of like a luminance ramp. Band 1, RGB all at 0.9, near white. Band 2, RGB all at 0.7, light gray. Band 3, RGB all at 0.5, mid gray. Band 4, RGB all at 0.3, dark gray. And band 5, RGB all at 0.1, near black. All alphas are at 1.0. Pre-processing is all at default. Blur and black level at 0.0, white level and gamma at 1.0. Under scale legend, show values and show scale are checked. Contrast is at default by 0.3. No changes in the Settings tab. Since false color is toggled off, disabled, it just passes the image through. But if you enable it, the image gets remapped to these grayscale bands, which gives it a really different look. Add a Scanlines node after false color. The Scanlines 1 node overlays a set of horizontal lines across the image, like an old CRT monitor. The overlay composite node means it blends with the footage rather than just sitting on top of it. Under appearance, set line frequency from 5.0 to 10.0. Add a second Scanlines node after the first one. Scanlines 2 node is the same as the first, but rotated -90 degrees. Together they form a full grid, horizontal and vertical lines crossing each other, which gives the lo-fi pixel display texture. Almost everything is the same as Scanlines 1, with these key differences. Line angle is set to -90 degrees instead of 0.0. That rotates the lines vertical. So now you've got both a horizontal and vertical scanline grid layered together. This creates that classic CRT pixel grid feel. Everything else, frequencies, colors, composite type, stay the same as Scanlines 1. After the two Scanlines node, add a color corrector node. The color corrector node shifts the overall hue of everything that came before it. That minus 0.34 hue value nudges the color palette into slightly different territory. It's subtle, but it ties the whole look together. In the correction tab, menu is set to colors and range is set to master, both by default. The main thing being adjusted here is hue. It's set to minus 0.34 from 0.0 default value. That shifts the overall color of the image, giving it a slightly different palette without touching the other values. Saturation stays at 1.0. Contrast, gain, lift, gamma, and brightness are all at default value. No adjustments in the Options tab. Next note, fast noise. This is what drives the fluid warping. Fast noise generates an animated noise texture that will feed into the Displace node. The fast noise node generates an animated noise texture that never repeats the same frame twice. The seize rate is what makes it move. It's basically the engine that drives all the fluid motion in the final effect. In the noise tab, change detail from 2.0 to 7.56. Contrast from 1.0 to 1.57. Scale from 2.0 to 20. And seize rate from 0.0 to 0.081. Seize rate is the key one. It controls how fast the noise animates over time. At 0.081, it moves slowly and smoothly, which is what gives it that fluid look. In the color tab, type is set to gradient, not to color. Gradient type is UE. The gradient goes from black to white using RGB interpolation. Repeat is set to once. No changes in this tab. In the image tab, it's set to 1920 x 1080 with auto resolution checked, which matches the composition. Also, no changes in this tab. Fast noise connects to the displacement input, the second white square input, on the Displace node. The Displace node takes the color-corrected footage as its main input and fast noise as its displacement map. Takes the noise from fast noise and uses it to physically push pixels around. Red channel drives horizontal movement, green drives vertical. The result is that smooth liquid warping of the image. Adjust the settings in the Controls tab. Click Type XY, not radial. Change X offset from 0.0 to minus 0.5. Change X refraction from 0.0 to 0.0141. Change Y offset from 0.0 to minus 0.5. The X refraction value of 0.0141 is what controls how far the image gets pushed around. It's subtle but noticeable. Crank it up and the warping gets wild. The offsets of minus 0.5 on both axes center the displacement so it warps in all directions equally. After Displace, add a RESIZE node. The RESIZE node is just a cleanup step. After displacement stretches and pushes pixels around, this locks the output back to a clean 1920 x 1080 frame. Nothing creative, pure technical. In the Controls tab, the only change is made in line auto resolution. Check the box so that it is on. This just makes sure the output is locked to the right resolution after the displacement potentially stretches things. The background node sits separately and feeds into merge as the background layer. The background node is a solid black fully transparent layer. It exists purely to give the merge node something to composite against. Without it, there's no background to place the footage on top of. Go to Color tab. In the inspector, lines type and colors red, green, and blue are default values. No changes. Change alpha from 1.0 to 0.0. The alpha being 0.0 makes it fully transparent, so the merge composite only shows what comes through from the footage. No changes in the image tab. The merge node takes background as the background input and the resize output as the foreground. The merge node is the final combination. It takes the background and the processed footage and stacks them together using the over operator. Foreground on top, background behind. This is the last step before output. No changes in the merge, channels, and settings tab. Merge goes straight into media out, and that's the full chain done. So that's the whole thing. 30 nodes, each doing a specific job. The key combination that creates the glitch look is JPEGDAMAGE, breaking up the compression artifacts. The two Scanlines layers adding that quick texture, and FASTNOISE continuously animating into Displace to make the whole thing warp and brass. One thing to experiment with, try keyframing the switch node source value to cut between different clips on specific frames. It adds this hard cut channel switch field on top of the fluid motion, which works really well for this style. Play with the X refraction on Displace and the seize rate on FASTNOISE to control how intense and fast the warping moves. These two sliders are basically your main dials for the whole effect. That's it. Hope this helps. See you in the next one.